Well, busy night in the National Hockey League. Let's see what happened elsewhere on the ice. The Coyotes took to the road to match up with the Blue Jackets. Arizona posts a shutout in an impressive defensive display. The Stars were hoping to come up with 2 points on the road against the Canucks. Dallas tested their mettle in this one, but they still come away with the win. The Kraken played a game against the Rangers. The New York Rangers triumphed easily in this one. Don't even think about touching that dial or touching that button. We've got plenty more on the ice, and that's next. All right, at this time, let's get you caught up on all the action on the ice tonight. The Kings took on the Maple Leafs. Los Angeles topples their opponents with a strong effort late. The Devils took to the ice to lock up with the Oilers. New Jersey powers their way to victory in this one. The Wild played a game against the Stars. Dallas tosses up a clean sheet thanks to a beautiful effort in goal. We are as cool as ice, and we are bringing you many more stories from the NHL. We're doing it next. Was there any volatility in the standings across the NHL tonight? Well, let's take a look at some of the final scores to find out. The Oilers were in a dogfight on the road up against the Avalanche. Colorado puts in a full 60-minute effort to pull this one out. The Bulls went toe-to-toe on the road against the Coyotes. Tampa takes this one with a strong effort at both ends of the ice. The Rangers were on the road up against the Flames. Calgary played maybe one of their strongest games of the year at both ends of the ice and get the win. Hey, we got to pay a couple of bills here, but we got a lot more action we got to get to. Stay with us. Now let's take a look at some of the rest of the action tonight in the NHL. The Maple Leafs were hoping to quiet the crowd on the road against the Capitals. Washington tramples their opposition in this one with a powerhouse offensive display. Elsewhere on the ice tonight, let's take a look at how the standings were impacted with some of the final scores around the league tonight. The Yotes took to the ice for a collision with the Capitals. Washington put in a strong effort. They needed extra time, and they still get the overtime win. All right, here's a little more 4-1-1 on what went down in the NHL. The Habs were in a dogfight on the road against the Avalanche. Colorado takes this one in a tightly contested affair and the bragging rights to go with it. The Red Wings were looking to steal 2 against the Sabres. Buffalo partied it up with an offensive display en route to the win. Hey, we got to take a quick pause for the cause, but we got a lot more on the other side. Don't even think about leaving us. Let's take a look at the scoreboard and what went down tonight on the ice. The Rangers were looking to steal 2 points against the Ducks. Anaheim tightened it up about as good as they can with the shutout win. The Devils were hoping to grab 2 points up against the Wild. Minnesota parties it up in the extra frame as they get the OT winner. The Sabres were looking to grab points on the road against the Lightning. Buffalo topples their opponents with a strong effort. And he buries it for the goal!
I really liked how he made this look like he was going to deke, but he doesn't. He stays with the shot, and he capitalizes.
Scores! Oh, what a snipe!
Didn't have much room. It looked like the goalie was in pretty good shape, but this one's in the back of the net.
He scores!
Head up, hit the spot, and finish it off. Really nice job.
Time to take a look at what happened around the league as we check in on some of the scores. The Caps faced off against the Coyotes. Washington perseveres, weathering the storm, and they win it in the shootout. Well, with this one all in the books, let's get you caught up on some of the other final scores around the National Hockey League. The Hurricanes were hoping to play spoiler against the Blackhawks. Chicago tightened it up late in their own end and did enough to preserve the win. The Wild played on the road against the Flames. Minnesota pummels the opposition into submission with a big offensive night. Don't go anywhere. We've got much more here on the show. All right, lots of wild happenings on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at some of the scores of what went down. The Blue Jackets faced off with the Golden Knights. Vegas toughed this one out. They needed a shootout, but they turned it up a notch and pick up the win. The Islanders were hoping to fly high on the road against the Flames. The New York Islanders took it in overtime. The Jets were on the road to take on the Canucks. Winnipeg tightens it up when they needed to most late, and they get the win. The story on the ice continues in a moment. Hey, no shortage of action and drama on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at what happened elsewhere. The Bees took to the road to match up with the Penguins. Pittsburgh parties it up in overtime with the win. The Red Wings took to the ice to battle the Islanders. The New York Islanders took it to the net in this one, and they pick up the win. The Golden Knights were in tough with the Lightning. Tampa Bay puts in a workmanlike effort in this one, and they get the win. We got to take a quick break, but we got a lot more coming your way next. Well, some fun, some drama, a little bit of everything on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at some of those scores around the league. The Blue Shirts were hoping their offense would show up in a big way against the Capitals. Washington technically was as good as it gets defensively in this one, and they get the win. Hey, with this one all said and done, let's get you caught up on some of the other final matchups in the league tonight. The Penguins had their hands full with the Hurricanes. Pittsburgh padded the stats on this night and pick up the easy win. The Jets had a tall order to fill as they tried to take two on the road against the Coyotes. Winnipeg, too much to handle in the extra frame, and they win it in overtime. A very special guest drops by on the show, and we'll do that next. All right, at this time, everyone, we'll catch you up on what went down in all the action in the league tonight. The Devils look to run roughshod over the Senators. Ottawa played their best in overtime, and they get the 2 points. The Sabres were on the road to take on the Hurricanes. Carolina taps into another gear and pick up the 2 points in the win. We got to take a quick break, everybody, but we've got a lot more to get to. Stay with us. Busy night of action on the ice. Let's take a look at some of the finals that are in from tonight. The Capitals battled it out against the Oilers. Washington played a thriller, and they come up with the winner in overtime. No shortage of action in the National Hockey League. Let's take a look at elsewhere what went down. The Wild played on the road against the Lightning. Minnesota triumphed easily in this one. The Canadiens had an on-ice collision with the Blue Jackets. Let's check in on some of the final scores across the league tonight. The Coyotes were hoping to take a bite out of the Sharks. Arizona terrorized the opposition with a magical offensive display. The Penguins took to the road to match up with the Golden Knights. Pittsburgh pushes on through with the shootout win. The Hawks were hoping to come up with 2 points on the road against the Kraken. Seattle tightens it up when they needed to most, and they preserved the victory. Hey, a few more hot-button issues we got to get to. It's a jam-packed show tonight. Stick around. Great night to be on the couch and watching hockey. Tons of scores around the league. Let's take a look at what went down. The Pens took on the Sharks. San Jose pulls one out of the fire in a tightly contested affair. The Lightning paired up with the Devils. New Jersey takes this one in overtime in a thriller. The Stars took to the ice to lock up with the Senators. Dallas pokes home the winner in the shootout. We got a jam-packed show. We've got a lot more stuff we got to get to, so don't even... Stars! They take it in overtime! All right, let's go around the horn and see what happened elsewhere around the NHL tonight. The Capitals were in a dogfight on the road up against the Sharks. Washington put the nail in the coffin to pick up the overtime win. The Canucks went toe-to-toe on the road against the Blackhawks. Chicago triumphs in the extra time and get the 2 points. The Maple Leafs were on the road up against the Bruins. Toronto posts the win with a strong defensive front when it mattered most. We'll check the inbox, we'll check the text line, and hear what you have to say next. Look at the celebration! Let's take a look at the rest of the action on the ice tonight in the National Hockey League. The Caps were hoping to quiet the crowd on the road against the Rangers. Washington powers their way through in the extra frame to come away with the overtime win. This wasn't the only game in the league tonight. Let's get you caught up on some of the other finals. The Blues took to the ice for a collision with the Stars. St. Louis topples the opposition with a strong defensive effort. The Blackhawks were in a dogfight on the road against the Avalanche. Okay, everybody, let's take a quick look at some of the final scores around the league tonight. The Bruins were looking to steal 2 against the Sabres. Buffalo takes this one in overtime in a thriller. The Canadiens were looking to steal 2 points against the Golden Knights. Vegas pulls one out in a nail-biter. The Sharks were hoping to grab 2 points up against the Red Wings. Detroit toughed this one out and get the 2 points and the win. Lots more puck talk coming your way, and we'll get to it next. All right, let's take a look at some of the final scores in the league tonight. The Rangers were looking to grab points on the road against the Islanders. The New York Rangers tightened it up late when they needed to most, and they pick up the 2 points. The Blackhawks faced off against the Lightning. Tampa tees up a strong offensive game, and they easily pick up the win. The Flyers were hoping to play spoiler against the Flames. Calgary puts on a clinical offensive display in the win. We got to take a quick pause for the cause, but we got a lot more coming up on the other side. Stay with us. All right, let's get all you poolies and all you hockey fans caught up on all the action out on the ice tonight. The Leafs faced off with the Kraken. Seattle takes this one in overtime thanks to a spectacular effort in the overtime frame. The Hawks were hoping to fly high on the road against the Islanders. Chicago pile drive their opponents with a huge offensive night. The Avs were on the road to take on the Oilers. Edmonton turns in a complete effort, and it's enough to pick up the win. Lots more to get to on the ice. Stay with us. They score! They take it in overtime! Let's take a look around the league and some of the final scores out there tonight. The Capitals took to the road to match up with the Flames. Washington pounded home the winner in overtime. Well, with this one in the books, let's get you caught up on some of the other final results in the NHL tonight. The Maple Leafs took to the ice to battle the Ducks. Toronto turns in a strong effort and they pick up the win. The Canucks were in tough with the Flyers. Vancouver pulls this one out in overtime. Time for a quick break, but we got a lot more coming up on the ice next. Well, busy night in the National Hockey League. Let's see what happened elsewhere on the ice. The Ducks were hoping their offense would show up in a big way against the Coyotes. Anaheim topples the opposition with a strong defensive performance, and they get the win. Lots more still to come, including the story in MMA, the hardwood, and more. Stay with us. All right, at this time, let's get you caught up on all the action on the ice tonight. The Oilers had their hands full with the Islanders. Edmonton pulverizes the opposition with a big offensive night. The Jets had a tall order to fill as they tried to take two on the road against the Canucks. Vancouver turns in a strong defensive effort, enough to preserve the win. The Avalanche paired up with the Predators. Colorado pulverizes their opponents with a big offensive effort. Don't even think about touching that dial or touching that button. We've got plenty more on the ice, and that's next. Was there any volatility in the standings across the NHL tonight? Well, let's take a look at some of the final scores to find out. The Wild played a game against the Capitals. Minnesota posts the overtime winner and come away with the extra point. Now let's take a look at some of the rest of the action tonight in the NHL. The Stars look to run roughshod over the Avalanche. Colorado tramples the opposition with a big offensive night. Well, let's take a look at how the standings were impacted with some of the final scores around the league tonight. The Cats were on the road to take on the Islanders. Florida pounds home the winner in the extra frame and get the OT win. The Flames battled it out against the Golden Knights. Vegas trampled the opposition on a night they just couldn't miss the net. The Blues had an on-ice collision with the Avalanche. Colorado pops like popcorn in this one, and they skate away with the win. We are as cool as ice, and we are bringing you many more stories from the NHL. We're doing it next. Let's take a look at the scoreboard and what went down tonight on the ice. The Maple Leafs were hoping to take a bite out of the Canadiens. Toronto tore it up offensively, and they skate away with the win. The Coyotes took to the road to match up with the Blues. Arizona put up a strong fight, and they do enough to get the win. The Avalanche played a game against the Blackhawks. Colorado terrorized the goalie with a monster offensive display. Hey, we got to pay a couple of bills here, but we got a lot more action we got to get to. Stay with us. Time to take a look at what happened around the league as we check in on some of the scores. The Penguins were hoping to come up with 2 points on the road against the Sabres. Buffalo pulls one out in a nail-biter. The Blues took on the Ducks. Anaheim tops the opposition in a game that had a little bit of everything on this night. The Canucks took to the ice to lock up with the Oilers. Edmonton played absolutely magnificent defense on the night on the way to a shutout win. Scores! The captain delivers!
Washington goal, scored by number 9.
Scores! And that's the hat trick!
To get it done on the road is a really special accomplishment. You're dealing with checkers, you're dealing with the line matchup, and it doesn't matter where you are. 3 is a great night. Breakaways are so interesting. You've got to go fast to get clear. Then you've got to slow your brain down to make the right decision. What a finish. Man, this night has gone well for him from the very beginning. He got the first one, and you could just see the puck was kind of finding him tonight, and he caps it off with his 3rd goal of the game. He wanted to get it wrapped up here, and it's sitting at 29. He gets one chance, and it's in the back of the net for number 30.
is having here, and it's not a good one.
You can't find the exit fast enough if you're a player or a fan. Man, what a rotten night. Everything that they've tried to make happen has gone wrong for them.
All right, lots of wild happenings on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at some of the scores and what went down. The Capitals were in a dogfight on the road up against the Hurricanes. Washington placed pad the stat night with a strong offensive performance. Let's take a look at the rest of the schedule in the NHL. The Kraken played on the road against the Sharks. San Jose torched their opponents with a big offensive display. The Predators went toe-to-toe on the road against the Stars. Nashville posts the win in a game that went back and forth all night. Hey, we got to take a quick pause for the cause, but we got a lot more on the other side. Don't even think about leaving us. Hey, no shortage of action and drama on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at what happened elsewhere. The Blues were on the road up against the Oilers. St. Louis topples the opposition with a strong effort at both ends. The Senators were hoping to quiet the crowd on the road against the Islanders.